Okay. Welcome to the National Press Club. Hot diggity. I'm Lisa Nicole Matthews. I am the planning editor for U.S. News at the Associated Press, and I am the 114th president of this beautiful National Press Club. I am so honored to be your host tonight as we honor my friend and colleague, Mike Balsamo. Yes, the very soon-to-be 118th president of this National Press Club. Tonight is a celebration. Can I get that? It's a celebration, folks. Yes. We are going to celebrate the National Press Club, which is an institution that is a staunch advocate of journalists around the world. And we celebrate our new leader and his commitment to journalism and our community of media professionals. So please, enjoy your food as we get started with the program. I'd like to acknowledge the sponsors of tonight's event who showed up in a big way. Our diamond level sponsor, and can I just mention we have never had a diamond level sponsor, okay? Safer Watch, all right? Our platinum level sponsor is my home and mothership, the Associated Press. Yes. Our silver sponsor is Tecro. Yes, indeed. And a big thank you to these organizations, and let's not forget GM Defense and the amazing Eileen and Carrie O'Reilly. We also want to give a shout out to members of the club, Spectrum News. Yeah, Spectrum News. Gray Media. Bloomberg Industry Group. And Bloomberg News for supporting the National Press Club. And of course for supporting Mike and for supporting responsible journalism. You may not know this, but the National Press Club is governed by a dedicated group of volunteers. Each of those volunteers give of their time and expertise. So I want to take this time now to acknowledge this great group of volunteers. Please stand when you hear your name. Our officers first. Vice President Elisa Parenti. Yes, indeed. Treasurer Poonam Sharma. Secretary Mark Sheff Jr. Yeah. Membership Secretary Steve Riley. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, officers. And our governors, Tara Kopp, Steve Herman. Yes, indeed. Herb Jackson. Jessica Mendoza. Elavina Nawaguna. Mark Walker. Allison Snyder. Karen Addis. Maria Rodriguez, and Deborah Silameo. I'd also like to acknowledge our ex officio members, Emily Wilkins, our immediate past president, and Ed Kelly, the president of the National Press Club Journalism Institute. You guys are so kind. You guys are so kind. Let's give these individuals another round of applause. They do a lot of hard work for the club, I gotta tell you. Now I want to take this time to introduce our past presidents. Yes, indeed. Did you know that there were, counting Mike now, 118 presidents of this institution? Of course, not all 118 could make it tonight, but we're going to give them some love anyway. I'm joking. Please stand when you hear your name. Frank Okafor, 1978. Yeah. Gil Klein, 1994. Jonathan Salant, 2006. Angela Greiling King, 2013. Myron Belkine, 2014. John Hughes, 2015. Jeff Ballou, 2017. Allison Fitzgerald Kojak, 2019. Yours truly, the COVID president, Lisa Matthews. Jen Judson, 2022. Eileen O'Reilly, 2023. And Emily Wilkins, 2024. I see some waving in the background. Rick Dunham. Oh, I totally skipped you, Rick. I'm so sorry. 2005. Yeah, you got to get a love to the presidents. You guys don't know, being president of the club is no joke. It is a second full-time job. Nobody wants to do it more than 1 year at a time. Okay? No one does. All right, I also want to acknowledge the staff who worked so hard to make this event extra, extra special for Mike and for all in attendance. Thank you. I won't forget our AV team. They're the ones that are making me sound pretty decent tonight. Our banquet team, the fantastic culinary staff led by, yes, exactly. Give it up for them. Wait till you taste the food. You're going to be wowed. Okay, they're led by our executive chef, Mo Aguilera. Yeah. Our entire membership team, led by Director Kate Helster. Our director, yes, Kate does a marvelous job. Our Director of Clubhouse Operations, Miguel Dominguez. And our Membership Program Manager, Cecily Scott Martin, who helped me with my remarks tonight. Thank you, Cecily. And of course, our Executive Director, Didier Soji. All righty. Is the food coming around yet? Are you getting food yet? Okay, we're going to make sure that starts happening here soon. And with that, let me tell you a little bit about Mike. You ready to hear about Mike? Can I get some audience participation tonight? Yeah. All righty. Mikey, he likey. Remember that commercial? Yeah. Well, Mike started his career at the AP in 2014 as a reporter in New York, where he made friends in all the right places. Look who's sitting next to him tonight. Right places. As you will see throughout this evening, Mike has a tendency to be perfectly balanced with his journalistic integrity, with the friendships he shares with those he covers. Since those early days in New York, he has spent over a decade covering law enforcement from coast to coast. He is now the national law enforcement editor for the Associated Press, helping to lead, that's right, the coverage of criminal justice, breaking news, and strategic initiatives across the U.S. with extensive experience in law enforcement and reporting. Now, since getting to DC, Mike has been really busy covering some of the nation's most significant stories, including the Justice Department under the first Trump administration, the special counsel's Russia investigation, and criminal cases also involving Donald Trump. He led a groundbreaking investigation into the federal prison system, which resulted in the resignation of the Bureau of Prisons director and sparked significant legislative reforms. So yes, yeah. Is anybody getting chills yet? This man is not to be messed with, okay? Not to be messed with. So yeah, he's a busy guy. His reporting has caused a president, unnamed, to throw his lunch, a U.S. prisons director to resign, and laws to be passed. You would think he was busy enough. But with less than a year after his move to D.C., he joined the National Press Club and quickly got to work behind the scenes. Now, I mentioned that Mike is the law enforcement editor. And I just want you to know that when I think about law enforcement, I think about truth, justice. Yeah? Is that what you guys think about? And I would think that being in a role like that requires something that I want to call truth busting. Yeah? Truth busting. So, in tribute to a man who I know will be Washington's #1 truth buster, I put together a personal little tribute, but I'm going to need your help. Are you guys ready to help me tonight? I'm serious about this. I need audience participation. You ready to help me? Okay, all righty. So you remember that movie, Ghostbusters? You remember that song by Ray Parker Jr.? And at the end, you say, "Who you gonna call?" Ghostbusters, right? Well, tonight, it's who you gonna call Balsamo, okay? So after I say, "Who you gonna call?" I need everybody to say, Balsamo. Thank you. All right, MC, hit it for me. Yeah. When they say it's fake, but you know it's true, who you gonna call? Oh yeah. When the facts ain't clear and you think it's stank, who you gonna call? Oh yeah. I'm getting down up here. Can I get some clapping? When the clickbait's high and the rumors spread, who you gonna call? Yeah. When the truth gets lost and the lies get bred, who you gonna call? Oh yeah. See? Mike is who you're gonna call. That's right. That's right. Who you gonna call? Okay, thank y'all. See? That worked out. When you need something done, and you need it done reliably, it's something that we see every day at the AP with Mike Balsamo. It's something we see every day. So, let's hear a little bit more about Mike from his colleagues.
If I had to describe Mike in one word.
That's such a good question. Hold on, I gotta think about this one.
Dogged.
Like there's so many, so I'm trying to come up with like one word.
He is passionate, he is committed, he's talented as hell, but really he's dogged.
I would describe Mike Balsamo as just greatness. A great journalist, a great colleague, a great manager, a great leader, and I know a great friend to many. Just Mike Balsamo, you're just great.
Mike Balsamo truly embodies the mission of the Associated Press. No one is more dedicated to supporting unbiased, fact-based, independent journalism and protecting press freedoms than Mike.
I've known Mike for several years now. We were both reporters, and then he became law enforcement editor and I became US politics editor, and we worked together a lot during the campaign. And I'm proud to call him a friend. He is just one of the best reporters I've ever worked with.
I've spent a lot of time over the years working on some really challenging and really difficult stories with Mike. Everything from the shooting in Las Vegas several years ago to more recently this past year with the assassination attempt of now President Donald Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. We had to make a lot of tough calls together. We had to talk through some really challenging and difficult situations. And he's always just had this incredible ability to see the story, to think through all the standards and all the ethical concerns of anything that comes his way.
There is no one I would rather have in my corner at this time when journalists are often coming under attack. Mike is not only a tough but fair journalist, but he's also a compassionate editor who truly cares about the people we cover and the journalists who report to him.
Mike, you're going to be amazing at this job. Congratulations and good luck.
Mike, thank you for all you have done to support me and all the journalists at the AP to do our best work. I can think of no better person to take on this job at this moment, and we're all rooting for you.
Mike, I'm just so proud of you. I know you're going to do an incredible job here at the National Press Club, at the helm of this institution, and fighting for press freedom here in the United States and around the world. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike. We are so very proud of you, and I know you're going to do a great job.
Congratulations, Mike, on your presidency of the National Press Club.
Congratulations, Mike, from AP Radio.
From one president to another, congratulations, Mike.
Hey, Mike, thanks for all you do on behalf of journalists at the Associated Press and everywhere.
Congratulations, Mike, from AP Video.
We're so excited for you. Congratulations.
Go, Mike, go!
Congratulations, Mike, from AP Investigations.
Go get him, Mike. You're such a champion for press freedom.
Congratulations, Mike. Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike.
Congratulations, Mike.
I love my AP family. You're so good. It's so good. We're going to take a short break now so we can actually eat some food. Enjoy the meal. How's the food, everyone? Is it good? Okay, we're back at it. Did everyone enjoy that delicious meal? Yeah. Gotta tell you, that osso buco, that is some good stuff. So, we're back on the program. One of Mike's friends couldn't be with us to celebrate in person tonight, but he was kind enough to share some words about Mr. Balsamo. So, let's hear from Senator Chuck Schumer. I shouldn't say this, but just like a Democrat to be late.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed journalists, communication professionals, and of course, the man of the hour, my dear friend, Mike Balsamo. It's such a privilege to speak to you tonight to celebrate the inauguration of a journalist who embodies the very best of our free press. Mike Balsamo, the 118th president of the National Press Club. And the National Press Club couldn't have chosen a better person. I knew Mike when he started out as a cub reporter for AP. He was diligent, he was hardworking, he was honorable, and he was not only ambitious, but a very nice guy to boot. And Mike's career has been a testament to the critical role journalists play in our democracy. As a reporter and editor for AP, he has covered and broke some of the most consequential stories of our time, and always did it with the Balsamo brand of integrity, tenacity, unwavering commitment to the truth. And he started from the bottom. How do I know? Sound familiar? City desk, Mike Balsamo. Mike also reported from the front lines of law enforcement. He held power to account as it should be. He has shown what it takes to be a great journalist, and he is thorough, fearless, fair. The National Press Club has long stood as a beacon for press freedom, a place where the great issues of our time are debated and where the pursuit of truth is honored above all else. And so, Mike, as you take the helm in that big, fancy office, as Angelo tells me, you do so at a moment when the press faces unprecedented challenges. Misinformation, threats to journalists, attacks on the credibility of the free press make your leadership and strength more important than ever. And if anyone's up to the task, it's you. Your colleagues love you, your readers trust you, and now this institution looks to you to lead it into the future. I have no doubt that under your presidency, the National Press Club will continue to champion the values that made a free press not just a pillar of democracy, but its very heartbeat. So today we celebrate not just your journalistic achievements, but the vital work of every journalist here, fighting for the truth on behalf of the American people. Congratulations, Mike. We look forward to your leadership and look forward to your many, many, many questions in the future. And to the members of the Press Club, you couldn't have chosen a better leader. So have a great night. Thank you. And I'm there with you in spirit, even though I can't be there in person.
All right. Giving only way a real Schumer could do that. Okay. Who are you going to call? Oh, yeah. I'm loving that. I love the audience participation tonight. So let's bring up a longtime colleague of Mike's. I want to welcome to the stage former Associated Press journalist and now a senior editor at NBC News Digital and a great friend, Colleen Long. Come on up, Colleen.
I'm going to set this here for later. We're going to do a toast. Get ready. Hi, everyone. I have my notes here. So I have known Mike Balsamo for 11 years, more or less. I wanted to open my remarks about Mike with a little anecdote about when he was a young reporter in the New York City bureau where I worked with him. It's a good example of kind of all the little bits and pieces that encapsulate, I think, Mike. So Mike was new in the New York City bureau, and I assigned him one of like the worst tasks ever, which is to cover the balloon inflation before the Macy's Day Parade. So you have to go, and you have to like talk to all these people, and they're filling up the giant balloons, and it's late at night, and it's just an odious assignment. And so Mike goes and he's calling me on the phone, and this kid is giving me like more information than any reporter has ever given me about anything. Calling me with like details about the police and like what the balloons look like and the people and the possible security concerns and all of this stuff. And we write this great story. He's on the phone with me, we write this great story. And then he says, I think I might need to go to the hospital. And I was like, wait, what? Why? And he was like, well, I've tripped and I think I might have broken my ankle. And I said, Michael, why didn't you tell me this like an hour ago before we wrote the story? And he was like, I really wanted to get the story out. I wanted to get it done. So he goes to the hospital. We get him to the hospital. And then he calls me a little while later and he says, my ankle is broken, but I think I can work tomorrow. I'm on the schedule for Thanksgiving, and like I think I can do it. It's gonna be fine. I can write it. I can do it. And I was like, Mike, you can't work on Thanksgiving when you have a broken ankle. You just gotta go home. Like it's gonna be okay. I promise. I feel like that kind of neatly encapsulates a lot of things about Mike, right? His tenacity, his care for his colleagues, his like willingness to get the story at all costs. And I think it's like a really good, it's why we love him, essentially. So Mike has this preternatural ability for news. And I know this because I have worked with him. I have kind of a unique perspective from everybody because I was his colleague, I was his editor, and I have sort of been with him side by side through most of his career. So Mike has this like preternatural ability to know news. While other people are obsessing about like, I don't know, baseball stats or, you know, the Super Bowl or pop culture, Taylor Swift, like Mike is obsessing about very unusual, like strange law enforcement agencies, like the Postal Inspection Service, which I think is obscure, but he will say is not obscure. And, you know, he'll call me and like want to talk about some like 1990s NYPD crime unit, you know, and I think that this obsession to detail, while everybody else shuts off, like he just doesn't. I think that kind of goes hand in glove with this idea about Mike's sort of commitment to accuracy. Like Senator Schumer said, he really wants to get things right. Like, it's intensely important. And I have spent, I don't know, like hours on the phone with Mike or standing next to him as we go over just changing 2 or 3 words in a story, just to make sure that it is as right as it could possibly be. Another thing about Mike is his ability to set people at ease. This is an unteachable skill in source reporting especially. And it has helped him get into the back halls of Congress, of the Justice Department, you know, of the White House. I think in addition to this, you know, when you put it all together, he also has this sort of aggressiveness for news. Like, Mike wants to be first. He likes it. He likes to be first. And being first is actually like a really stressful place because when you're first, you're hanging out there by yourself and nobody has matched you yet. And it can be nerve-wracking. And I will give you an example. So one time, Mike was having lunch with a government employee who shall not be named. And, you know, that particular employee mentioned that there had been no widespread election fraud. This was in 2020 when the President of the United States had said there was widespread election fraud, but this very knowledgeable government employee, who shall not be named, said no, that was not the case. So Mike calls me on the phone, and he's like, we gotta get this story out. We gotta write this story, we gotta get this story out. Let's write the story. And the reason he wanted to get this story out is because this particular government employee was headed to the White House to tell the president this, and he wanted to get the story out before the president knew. Which is like, come on, man. The president doesn't know this? Okay. But, you know, we all know the rest is history. I don't want you to think, though, that like his like wanting to get it right and his aggressiveness is like what really comes underneath that is like a deep sense of duty and sort of like a real need he really believes in like the public service aspect of journalism, I think. You know, when the coronavirus pandemic was sort of raging, Mike was one of the reporters we sent into the federal prison system to cover executions. It was a particularly dangerous time because, you know, the virus was raging, we didn't know what was gonna happen, and we needed somebody to, you know, witness this. And I kept saying to him, Mike, your mom's gonna kill me. I can't send you into the prisons. And, you know, he insisted on doing it, insisted. He said it was really important, it was really necessary, it was really accurate. It was really necessary to get an accurate portrayal, and he was right. You know, he saw things that were very different from what some of the other, you know, from the more formal accounts of what had happened. So when he moved into editing, I thought that he would maybe keep a toe in reporting, but he's actually done something really interesting to me, which is like take on this reporter safety and security hat. I think in this moment in time, it's so critical as we journalists are facing, just increasing threats, disinformation, misinformation, to have somebody really focused kind of around this idea of safety and security. And he's not just interested in like your physical security, the physical security of reporters, but also their emotional security. And that's really important because, again, we're all facing these sort of increased threats. So I think there is no one better to lead the National Press Club at this time where we journalists are all facing such strange and unusual and difficult times where misinformation is rampant. We're increasingly concerned about our safety. To have someone whose devotion to accuracy is so strong, only matched by his devotion to his friends and his fellow colleagues, I think is a real wonderful thing. So I wanted to raise a glass. Let's all raise a glass. Mike can raise his water, even though it's super bad luck. Raise a glass. Get this man a Coke, please. To Michael Balsamo, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Colleen. Fantastic. And now I'd like to introduce yet another fantastic friend of Mike, former Attorney General Bill Barr. He's been a long time friend of Mike. So, Attorney General, please come on up to the stage. Thank you, sir.
I thought I was going to be introduced as a source with direct knowledge of, but now I'm out, so I'm also blind here. But it's a privilege for me to be here tonight to honor Mike Balsamo upon his inauguration as the 118th president of the Press Club. And as I understand it, he's the youngest at 33 years old. That struck home because I was Attorney General the first time before he was born. Over my many decades as a government official and in business, I've had the occasion and sometimes even the pleasure of dealing with a wide array of journalists. And some of them have been real pros in my opinion, but no one surpasses Mike as the consummate professional in my experience. Now, Sadie, Dell, and Eric, I said no one surpasses, okay? When I arrived at the DOJ for my second stint as Attorney General under President Trump, Mike was the AP reporter on that beat, and the head of public affairs who's with me tonight, Kerry Kupek, told me this guy's just a great reporter. He's a real pro. And I was impressed from the very start with his genuine interest in the department, our day-to-day work, his understanding of the issues, his probing curiosity, sometimes an annoying curiosity, his intellectual honesty, and his commitment to get the story right. And that's what everyone up here has said, and that is certainly his trademark. During cocktails, I was talking to the president of, was up there, Safer Watch, Gino, who told me that he met Mike several years ago, where? At a International Association of Chief of Police convention, and he met him as he was going through the various vendor booths. Now, that's a reporter who's interested in law enforcement. You know, some reporters never really go beyond the politically topical stories of the day, the ones that are generating sort of the most obvious excitement. But Mike loved to dig in to the less sensational but important stories about law enforcement. And his work on the prison systems is a perfect example of that. And the leadership that he succeeded in driving from office was the team that I had put in place. So no hard feelings, Mike. So I'm tolerant of reporters. Mike, I liked having Mike as a traveling companion. I tried to take various reporters who were covering justice with me, one at a time, one on various trips, and I really enjoyed traveling with Mike. And I found that his excellence in his craft was matched by his excellence as a human being. He's a mensch and has a great sense of humor, which I certainly needed at the time. And I thoroughly enjoyed his company and have tried to stay in contact with him since leaving the department. Now, one of the memorable examples of Mike's work for me was his work in Portland, Oregon in the summer of 2020. Every night for almost 4 months, hundreds of Antifa rioters using black bloc tactics would attack every night the federal courthouse, trying to burn it down, and using lasers to try to blind the deputy marshals who were protecting the courthouse. Other than a small number of federal protective police that we see every day guarding federal buildings around Washington and who were guarding certain federal buildings in Portland, other than those police, the federal presence in Portland consisted of about 24 deputy U.S. Marshals who were trying to protect the courthouse and were manning a fence that had been tightly drawn around the courthouse. That was the federal presence in Portland. And the national media was reporting events in Portland as essentially an invasion of the city by jackbooted fascist stormtroopers. And the rioters were described as concerned citizens who were facing down a federal invasion of Portland. Now, no matter what we tried to do to explain the circumstances that we were not going to let a federal courthouse be burned down, the media coverage continued to advance this narrative nationally and almost uniformly around the country. Mike, being Mike, decided he was going to go to Portland. And he embedded with the U.S. Marshals guarding the courthouse. And he started writing stories, very powerful, graphic, and effective stories about what actually was happening. And the injuries being sustained by the Marshals, the nonstop physical attacks and efforts to burn down the courthouse. And after he started reporting, things started changing. I remember Joe Scarborough started Morning Joe after those stories started coming up and saying, maybe there's an aspect to this that we haven't recognized before. And the state government in Oregon, the governor, actually decided to start discussing with the federal government how to protect the federal courthouse. So that was a real change. To me, Mike Balsamo exemplifies the values that are essential to, if our news organizations are going to serve the indispensable role that they play in a democratic republic, and that is informing the public by gathering the facts and accurately and fairly reporting them. And at its best, journalism should represent the reality principle in our civic life. And this means the ultimate commitment must be to pursuing objective truth. Both journalism and the criminal justice system have something in common. They're both institutions whose ultimate allegiance should be to the truth. And obviously, professionals in both of these fields, judges, prosecutors, FBI agents, and reporters, have their own political views and personal philosophies. But as professionals, they need to be able to subordinate these in the service of the higher value of truth. And that is where the sense of duty comes in. Professionals, by definition, have a duty. Today, I think journalism is in mortal danger. There are a lot of threats to it. One of them, I think, is from AI, which will make it very difficult as they just sort of invite people to forget clicking on the source of the story and just sort of get a regurgitation of things for free. It's going to be hard for news organizations to economically maintain the infrastructure that's necessary to gather the facts, to vet them, and responsibly provide them to the public. And if this trend continues, I'm worried that everything is going to descend to the least common denominator of people flapping their gums and offering commentaries that are completely divorced from factual reality, and the country and our republic is going to suffer. But another reason I think for the crisis today is that the media has lost credibility, because many Americans perceive that the media has lost its sense of, or much of the media has lost its sense of objectivity and fairness and has become politicized. And that is true of many of our institutions. And I think the viability of news organizations will require getting back to basics and recommitting to pursuing the truth and restoring credibility as a source of accurate and fair reporting, and showing to the public the value that has. And that's why I think it's very appropriate at this juncture that Mike Balsamo is being honored, because Mike is the kind of reporter that news organizations need if they're going to thrive in the years ahead. Congratulations, Mike.
Well said, Mr. Attorney General. Thank you for describing the Associated Press to a T. Absolutely. It's all about the facts. And that's what we do. We advance the power of facts at the Associated Press. And we are so happy that Mike is going to be at the helm of the National Press Club, helping us to continue to do that work. And now, without further ado, let me introduce the next speaker of the evening, who will do the honors of administering the oath of office. Julie Pace is Senior Vice President and Executive Editor at the mothership of journalism, the Associated Press.
Thank you, Lisa. Lisa, I have a few things for you to host next week that I'm going to call on you for here. Thank you so much to Lisa, to the whole National Press Club for hosting us for this really wonderful evening, and really for all of the work you do to support press freedom in the United States and around the world. I am so pleased to be here to celebrate my colleague, Michael Balsamo. Clap for Mike. Mike and I started working together in AP's Washington Bureau when he was, Senator Schumer called it a cub reporter. At AP, we often call it a baby reporter. And I immediately felt a real kinship with Mike. I, too, had started out in the Washington Bureau as a baby reporter, and it can be a tough place to work when you're young. It's competitive. It can be pretty cutthroat. We shared a real enthusiasm for a scoop, for a great story, and we could spend literally hours strategizing over how to break news, how to get that story. There was one difference, though. Mike was just so much better than I had ever been at doing any of those things. He was truly just one of the most natural reporters that I had ever worked with, and his work was always rooted in the facts. There was never a hint of a political lean. He was equally tough and exacting in his reporting, no matter what political party he was covering, no matter what political party was in charge in Washington. And frankly, it was just really fun to watch him work. So I will confess, I was a little bit skeptical when Mike told me he was interested in moving into management. Aren't we all? I thought he would chafe at some of the more mundane administrative tasks, and I thought he would miss that adrenaline rush that comes when you've got your byline on that big story and you're seeing it really ricochet around the world. And I remember in one of our conversations about this decision, I remember saying to him, this is what you really need to think about. You need to think, are you going to get as much satisfaction out of watching your team succeed as you get out of succeeding yourself? So fast forward a few years, and I can confidently say that there are few journalists that I know who embrace that approach more than Michael. He is driven by a deep desire to help other journalists succeed. Now, he holds his team and his colleagues, including me, to high standards. But then he arms them with the tools and the strategies to meet those standards. And he also knows that success for his colleagues in the media means more than just winning on the biggest stories. It means helping them do their jobs safely in an environment when the risks to journalists are only increasing, from physical and online threats to restrictions on press freedom and our ability to do our basic work. And it's this same approach that Mike takes at the AP that he's now taken to his work at the National Press Club, where he's expanded his commitment to the success and the well-being of all journalists. And that's why all of us in this room are so fortunate to have Mike assuming the role of National Press Club president at this moment. Mike is clear-eyed about the challenges facing journalists ahead, and about the need to protect our ability to deliver fact-based information to a public that is often battered by misinformation and political spin. And he doesn't come at this work from a place of opposition. As I noted earlier, Mike is equal opportunity when it comes to holding powerful people and powerful institutions accountable. His dogged commitment to press freedom is rooted in a simple yet really powerful belief that independent journalism is an essential ingredient in a functioning democracy. So we need Mike in this moment. But Mike also needs all of us. He needs us to remain committed to our principles, to make sure we're doing our jobs in ways that build trust with the public, and to advocate fiercely for the vital role of a free press. So I want to thank everyone in this room for being committed to taking on this work, to helping Mike over this next year. And we, of course, want to thank Mike for being our leader in these efforts. Congratulations. All right, so let's get on with it, Mike. Come on, let's go. Okay. We have the AP style book that we are doing the swearing in on here. Okay. You have to put your hand on that now.
And I raise this one, right? Yeah, that's how this goes?
Okay. All right. I, Mike Balsamo.
I, Mike Balsamo.
Promise to serve faithfully.
Promise to serve faithfully.
As president of the National Press Club.
As president of the National Press Club.
And to execute all of the duties of the presidency.
And to execute all of the duties of the presidency.
I promise to work vigorously.
I promise to work vigorously.
We know you will. You don't have to say that. To strengthen the National Press Club.
To strengthen the National Press Club.
For the benefit of our members.
For the benefit of our members.
And I pledge to fight vigorously.
And I pledge to fight vigorously.
On behalf of freedom of information.
On behalf of freedom of information.
And freedom of the press.
And freedom of the press.
And for the protection of journalists everywhere.
And for the protection of journalists everywhere.
Congratulations, Mike.
That's so awesome. Mike, I want you to please stay here. And Julie, you can go ahead and step off. Can we get another round of applause for Julie Pace, too? Fantastic. And I'm not just saying that because I want a little extra in my paycheck next week. Now I want to welcome to the podium again our immediate past president of the National Press Club, Emily Wilkins, for a toast.
Wouldn't be a toast without the actual booze. Hello, my name is Emily Wilkins. I have had the absolute honor of being the 117th president for the National Press Club, and now we shall do our peaceful transfer of power, which, as the folks in this room know, is incredibly important, so thank you. And I would actually think of it more as sort of passing the torch to one of the most badass reporters that I know, and we've talked a lot tonight about the fact that Mike is a badass reporter. So I wanted to say something about what he's done at the National Press Club, because Mike has already been such an immense leader here. I mean, if you've walked through the door tonight, you need to know that there have been a number of security measures in place that Mike has led on that keeps every single member and every single guest here at this club safe. You need to know that Mike was immensely involved in planning out the plan for our club's future. And you need to, yes, heck yes. And you need to know that in the past year, we have done an immense work of taking an ad hoc approach to press freedom and putting that within a solid foundation so the club can continue to be a leader in press freedom for decades to come. And let me just tell you, 1 year ago, I thought, this will take a couple months. It did not take a couple months. It took a great deal of time, and it would have not happened if not for Mike's insights, his commitment, his dedication, his perspective, and for his bold moves. And so it has been an absolute honor, Mike, to work with you. I look forward to continue to supporting your presidency. If I can actually get all of the past presidents to stand up with your glass, Mike, know that this group of individuals will continue to support you, advise you, stay out of your way, whatever you need, really. If I can get the board of the National Press Club to stand up, and Beth and Ed and all of our institute members, feel free to stand up as well. Mike, you already know these folks. They're incredibly intelligent. They've got great ideas. You already know to come to them for advice. They'll make your year amazing. And if now I can get everyone else to stand up with your glass and toast to the 118th president of the National Press Club, Mike Balsamo! Woo! Cheers. Cheers.
Okay. Let me get this ready for you. All righty. Thank you, Emily. Now we're going to hear from your 118th National Press Club president. You know, one joke I never got in. On the morning calls, you know what I call Mike? Balsamic. Because I like balsamic dressing, so he's balsamic, balsamo. Anyway, just a little tanginess there. Okay, let's hear now from your 118th National Press Club president, Michael Balsamo.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I stand before you not only as the 118th president of the National Press Club, but as a guardian of a sacred mission, a mission to honor every journalist, every communicator, every brave soul who dares to shine a light in the dark corners of power. I want to begin I want to begin by thanking my family, friends, and colleagues, my unwavering support system. To my family, thank you for standing by me, even when I was chasing stories for free or for mere pennies. Your belief in me, when passion outweighed paychecks, has brought me to this stage tonight. I'm deeply honored to be the 6th Associated Press journalist to lead this storied institution. My sincere gratitude goes to every mentor, colleague, and friend who paved the way. And to Julie, thank you, because your guidance taught me to lead with empathy, to navigate even the most chaotic breaking news situations with a smile, and to find grace amid the whirlwind. Thank you for trusting me with this responsibility, even though I'm quickly learning this is a second unpaid full-time job. For a century, these halls have echoed with the voices of presidents, kings and queens, business titans, movie stars, and everyday heroes. When President William Taft became the first US president to visit the National Press Club shortly after our founding in 1908, he could scarcely have imagined that it would evolve into a sanctuary for truth, a birthplace for a narrative that shapes our nation. And tonight, I stand on the shoulders of giants. I want to offer heartfelt thanks to my immediate predecessor, Emily Wilkins, whose passion, tenacity, and fearless leadership have paved our way. And to our MC, former president, and my AP colleague, Lisa Matthews, your warmth and wit set the perfect tone for tonight's celebration, so thank you. And a heartfelt thank you also to our incredible National Press Club staff team and everyone who made tonight possible. Without your tireless dedication, none of this would be here, and I want to especially recognize our membership program coordinator, Cecily Scott Martin, our membership director, Kate Helswer, and executive director, Didier Saji. We simply could not do this without you, so thank you. As journalists, we answer a calling, and it's certainly not for the money, the comfort, or the predictable hours, but for the power to expose corruption, to amplify the voices of the marginalized, and defend the ideals of our democracy. Our work is not for the faint-hearted. It is both a solemn duty and a profound privilege. Even when the burden feels heavy, it reminds us why our mission matters. When press freedom is under threat and truth is under fire, we stand united as the bulwark of democracy. Now, more than ever, the world needs a fearless press. We are not merely reporting the news. We are shaping history, we're protecting democracy, and we're defending the right to ask the tough questions. Across the globe, reporters face escalating threats: physical, legal, digital. Disinformation burns like wildfire, online harassment surges, and the very foundations of our democracy are tested daily. Yet time and again, you rise to the challenge. You risk everything to hold the power accountable and to ensure that the voices of voiceless are heard. Just last year, we celebrated monumental victories when heroes like Evan Gershkovich and Alsu Kumasheva returned home from their imprisonment in Russia. Their courage reminds us that the cost of truth is steep, but its triumph is priceless. As threats to our profession intensify, we're doubling down on our commitment to defend a free and independent press. Today, we reinforce decades of work with the Press Freedom Center at the National Press Club. This center is not just a program, it's our promise to every journalist: you will never stand alone against intimidation. Under the leadership of Director Bill McCarran and the guidance of Advisory Board Chair Jason Rezaian, who spent 9 months in an Iranian prison for reporting the truth, we are building a fortress of support. Thank you. Whether fighting for a detained American journalist, assisting families who are thrust into the spotlight suddenly, or providing housing, legal aid, and career opportunities for those who are forced into exile, we stand ready to act. But no fight for press freedom is complete while one of our own remains behind bars. For over 12 years, American journalist Austin Tice, a Marine, a son, a brother, has been held captive in Syria. His parents, Mark and Deborah, have borne unimaginable burden, fighting every day with undying hope for their son to return. To Deborah, Mark, and to Austin, we will not rest. We will not back down, and we will not yield until you are reunited. Austin's fight for freedom is not just his own. It's the fight of every courageous soul who dares to challenge oppression and speak truth to power. Even as we stand united in our fight for press freedom, our industry faces another formidable battle. Layoffs have rocked newsrooms of every size. From 2005 to 2024, roughly 3,000 newspapers have shuttered, and 40,000 journalists have lost their jobs, with last year's layoffs surging nearly 50% over the previous year. The staggering reduction is compounded with a collapse of a public trust in our media that underscores the erosion of our newsrooms is striking at the very heart of our democracy. Yet, amidst all this uncertainty, the call for responsible, independent journalism has never been clearer. In the months ahead, we must champion ethical journalism, elevate news literacy, and empower the next generation of journalists through training and support offered by the National Press Club Journalism Institute. Tonight, at this crossroads of history, I call on each of you to take this pledge: to rise for freedom, to stand for truth, and to forge a future where the power of journalism burns brighter than ever. With relentless dedication, determination, courage, and an unwavering conviction, we will write the next chapter of our nation's story, a chapter defined by unity, resilience, and an unbreakable commitment to shared ideals. Thank you for your trust, your passion, and your steadfast dedication to this noble cause. The future is ours to shape, and together our light will never dim. Thank you.
You know, we are thrilled and privileged, and I am so proud to see you right now being our president. We're thrilled to have you, Mike. I want you to know that. And I'd also like to take one more opportunity to ask, who you gonna call? Yeah! All righty! Don't go away, don't go away, don't go away. All of this thing, this thing with the teleprompter is just killing me tonight. Anyway, I want to thank our sponsors one more time. Safer Watch, thank you so much. The Associated Press, TechBro, GM Defense, and Eileen and Carrie O'Reilly. Has this not been a fun night, folks? Yeah. Now I want to invite you to join us in the Holman and the First Amendment Lounge for some snacks, some cocktails, and music by Uncle Jesse. And I just want to hear one more time, when you're in need, who you gonna call? Thank you. Have a nice night, everybody.